Another new contender for the Republican nomination for president has thrown his hat in the proverbial ring. Once again, it's somebody with some Texas connections. Congressman Ron Paul has made waves for bids for the White House, but has fallen short. And now it's his son, Kentucky Senator Ron Paul, that's stepping out to try to win the GOP nomination. Certainly isn't a typical Republican, as our strategist will tell us here in a couple of minutes. First, some of his announcement from Louisville this morning.
I have a message. A message that is loud and clear and does not mince words. We've come to take our country back. The Washington machine that gobbles up our freedoms and invades every nook and cranny of our lives must be stopped. Washington is horribly broken. I fear it can't be fixed from within. We, the people, must rise up and demand action. We brought Iran to the table through sanctions that I voted for. Now we must stay strong. That's why I've co-sponsored legislation that ensures that any deal between the U.S. and Iran must be approved by Congress. To rescue a great country now adrift, join me as together we seek a new vision for America. Today, I announce, with God's help, with the help of liberty lovers everywhere, that I am putting myself forward as a candidate for President of the United States of America.
Matt Mackowiak is with the Potomac Strategy Group, a GOP strategist who ran Bill Flores' initial first successful campaign for Congress. He also heads up mustreadtexas.com. Matt, I guess first off, your impressions is yet another guy with a Texas connection coming into the race. A little bit different from Ted Cruz, though.
Yeah, I thought it was a successful announcement event for Rand Paul. He had a good crowd, good hometown crowd in Louisville. There hasn't been a major presidential candidate from Kentucky run in 171 years, so it was a big deal in the Commonwealth. He got, drove his message, which is his sort of unique brand of libertarian conservatism. Talked about, his issues that he really cares about: the Constitution, freedom, limited government. His sort of non-interventionist foreign policy views. So, he's a very interesting candidate in this race. And honestly, I'm having difficulty seeing forward whether he is a front runner or whether he is likely to not be a strong candidate. I think he has a path in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada. But I think his foreign policy views are outside the mainstream of the Republican Party. And as that's become a more important issue, given what we see in the Middle East and Yemen and Iran and everywhere else, I think that's going to be a problem for him.
And he's got some question marks when it comes to his defense spending as well. I guess he had first said that he wanted to reduce budget when it comes to the Defense Department. Now he is advocating an increase in the budget. Where is he on that issue?
Yeah, I mean, that's become more of a real focus within the Republican Party and the conservative movement over the past couple of years. With the sequester, it's obviously reducing our readiness for our military, and so that's really kind of a litmus test issue at this point. It's hard though to reduce government spending if you don't look at defense spending. So this is one of the problems Rand has had, though, is in the past year or so he's been a little bit undisciplined, taking both sides of a lot of different issues, having to clean up things he said, walk things back. You've got to be very disciplined as a presidential candidate. With 10 or 12 strong candidates running, it's hard to get attention as it is. If you have to spend time defending yourself or, fixing mistakes that you make, it just takes away from the message that you're trying to convey.
And the first two candidates that are in for the Republican Party are not exactly the in-the-box candidates at this point in time. Does that say something about where this race is heading, that these two are the first guys, Ted Cruz and Rand Paul, into this race?
A little bit. I mean, keep in mind they're both first-term United States senators. I think that's part of it. They know that they have to get started. They're also in office, and given that they're in the majority and it takes 60 votes to bring a bill to the floor, they're going to have to be in Washington sometimes voting, and so that's going to take away from their ability to campaign. So I think this is more about getting the fundraising started. You've got to raise probably $50 million in the 2015 calendar year, and Cruz has already raised probably about $4 million in the 2 weeks since he announced. Saw Rand Paul had raised about $300,000 online in the first 4 hours. So this is more, I think, a reflection of these guys wanting to start raising money and wanting to get started. And we'll have Marco Rubio announced on Monday, and he'll be the third candidate in.
Real quick, Matt, it seems like in the polls, probably on name recognition, in large part, Jeb Bush continues to be the guy and certainly an in-the-box conservative candidate. Do you think at this point he's still the front runner?
I think he's a slight front runner. I mean, the national polls don't matter that much. They're a reflection of name identification at this point. The question for Jeb is, how is he going to perform in the early states? I think there's a chance he's not going to perform well in Iowa and South Carolina, and so he's going to have to put all his eggs in the New Hampshire basket. We saw how that worked for Rudy Giuliani 8 years ago. But look, Jeb is going to have an enormous financial advantage. He's going to raise probably $100 million the first 6 months of this year. And I think he is a strong conservative, not as strong as Ted Cruz and others, but he is a strong conservative from his time as governor. So it remains to be seen if he's going to be a good candidate or not. He's certainly going to be a very strong fundraiser, and he's certainly the choice of the Republican establishment.
Matt Mackowiak, Republican strategist with the Potomac Strategy Group, joining us from Austin today. Matt, we appreciate the time, sir. Thank you.
Thanks. Take care.